The Awakening. The emergency sirens wailed across New Horizon, humanity's furthest colony from Earth. Dr. Elena Reyes sprinted through the corridors of the communications center, the building shuddering with each impact from above. Through the observation dome, she watched as sleek, obsidian vessels descended through the atmosphere, their hulls adorned with blue energy patterns that pulsed like veins. "They weren't supposed to find us," gasped Marcus, her assistant, his face ashen as he stared at the sensor readings. "We're too far out. We followed all the protocols." "Theories don't matter now," Elena replied, her fingers dancing across the control panel. "We need to send a distress call before they knock out our quantum communicator." The communications center trembled again. A support beam crashed down mere meters from where they stood, showering them with dust and debris. Elena ignored it, focusing entirely on programming the emergency beacon. This wasn't just any distress call. It was aimed at the one place the colony leaders had sworn never to contact except in the most dire circumstances: Earth. As she worked, Elena's mind raced with the implications. For over a century, Earth had remained isolated from galactic politics. After humanity's initial ventures into deep space, they had encountered a cosmos teeming with advanced civilizations that viewed humans as primitive newcomers, barely worth acknowledging. Rather than fight for recognition, Earth had quietly withdrawn, establishing only a handful of distant colonies like New Horizon, while focusing their energies inward. "Transmission ready," Elena announced, her finger hovering over the activation key. "Once I send this, there's no going back." On the screen, the alien warships, Sarkin vessels by their configuration, were landing in the colony's central plaza. Soldiers in gleaming silver armor poured out, weapons firing indiscriminately. "We have no choice," Marcus said grimly. Elena pressed the key. The quantum transmitter hummed to life, sending a compressed data packet containing everything they knew about the Sarkin, their weapons, and their tactics, along with a simple message: "New Horizon under attack. Humanity threatened. Help us." The transmission lasted just 3 seconds before a direct hit destroyed the transmitter array. Elena and Marcus ducked as the control panel exploded in a shower of components. "Do you think they heard us?" Marcus asked, clutching his injured arm. "I don't know," Elena replied honestly. "But if they did..." She left the thought unfinished as heavy footsteps approached the communications center. 14 light-years away, Earth's Deep Space Monitoring Station picked up the quantum pulse. Lieutenant Sarah Chen was on duty when the signal arrived, breaking the usual tedium of her shift. "Sir, we're receiving a distress call from New Horizon," she called out, bringing the message to the station commander's attention. Commander Jackson leaned forward, his weathered face tightening as he read the data. "Inform Defense Command immediately. Priority Alpha." Within an hour, Earth's highest military leaders gathered in an underground facility beneath the Pacific Ocean. The room fell silent as they reviewed the distress call and the intelligence it contained. "The Sarkin Imperium," General Annika Torres said, breaking the silence. "They finally found us." Admiral Wei nodded gravely. "We always knew this day might come. The question is, do we respond?" The debate was brief but intense. Some argued for continued isolation, suggesting the colony might be sacrificed for Earth's long-term security. Others insisted this was precisely the scenario they had prepared for across generations. Finally, Admiral Wei stood. "We've hidden long enough. While the galaxy thought we were nursing our wounded pride, we were building, preparing. If the Sarkin want to test humanity, they'll learn what we've become." He turned to his communications officer. "Send the activation codes. Wake the fleet." As the orders went out, no one in the galaxy could have predicted what was about to be unleashed. Earth had not been idle during its century of isolation, and the most lethal fleet the galaxy had ever seen was about to reveal itself. Deep beneath the Martian surface, in caverns hidden from both Earth's observers and alien scans, lights flickered to life for the first time in decades. The activation codes from Admiral Wei had reached their destination. the command center of Ares Base Alpha. General Maya Okafor surveyed the holographic display of Earth's secret fleet. "Begin awakening sequence," she ordered, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. "All vessels, all crews." Her executive officer, Colonel Victor Ramirez, entered his authentication codes. "Ma'am, are we certain about this? Once the sleeping giants are active, the galaxy will know what we've been hiding." Okafor nodded. "Those are our people on New Horizon, and if the Sarkin have found them, Earth is next. It's time." Throughout the massive underground hangar bay, colossal ships began powering up their systems. These weren't ordinary vessels. They represented generations of human innovation, developed in isolation and secrecy. While the galaxy believed humans had retreated in shame, they had instead been building the most formidable fleet ever constructed. The flagship Reckoner was the first to fully activate. At 3 kilometers long, its sleek, gunmetal hull absorbed rather than reflected light, making it nearly invisible to visual detection. Captain Amara Diallo walked through the bridge as systems came online around her, crew members emerging from cryo sleep and taking their stations. "Status report," Diallo commanded, settling into the captain's chair. "All systems green, Captain," replied her first officer, Commander Rajpatal. "Quantum drives at full capacity, stealth systems online, weapon arrays charged and ready." Diallo nodded, studying the tactical display showing the other ships in the fleet awakening. The Vindicator, the Judgment, the Retribution, each name a promise of what humanity had become in their long isolation. "The Sarkin think they're attacking a defenseless colony," Diallo said. "They have no idea what's coming for them." In the Martian command center, General Okafor received confirmation as each ship reported ready status. The pride of human engineering was awakening. Vessels equipped with technology no other species had developed. Their hulls contained adaptive nanomaterials that could repair damage in real time. Their engines utilized quantum folding to achieve speeds thought impossible by galactic standards. Most importantly, they carried weapon systems that could target with perfect precision, minimizing civilian casualties while maximizing damage to enemy forces. "Admiral Wei is on secure channel," Colonel Ramirez announced. The Admiral's face appeared on screen. "General, what's our status?" "The fleet is awakening on schedule, sir. Reckoner will lead the first wave through the spatial corridor." "Good. The President has authorized full operational freedom." The Sarkin crossed a line. Now they'll learn the consequences. As the communication ended, Okafor turned to the massive viewport overlooking the hangar. The Reckoner was now hovering, its massive engines glowing with crimson energy that seemed to bend light around them. Below decks on the flagship, crews were finalizing preparations. In the ship's tactical center, weapon specialists calibrated systems that could target individual soldiers on a planet's surface from orbit. In engineering, technicians monitored the experimental drive systems that would carry them through space corridors, shortcuts through space-time that humans had discovered and kept secret from the galaxy. "All ships report ready, Captain," Patil announced on the Reckoner's bridge. Diallo nodded, feeling the weight of history pressing down on her. For a century, humanity had waited, watched, and prepared. Now they would reveal themselves, not as the primitive species the galaxy had dismissed, but as its most formidable force. "Signal the fleet," she ordered. "We launch in 5 minutes." As the countdown began, the massive hangar doors above the Martian base slid open for the first time in a generation. The Reckoner rose first, followed by the rest of the fleet, 25 ships in all, each capable of outmatching anything the Sarkin could field. "Set course for New Horizon," Diallo commanded. "Prepare to enter the spatial corridor on my mark." The fleet accelerated away from Martian orbit, invisible to conventional sensors, moving with purpose and deadly intent. Humanity's response to the distress call was underway, and the galaxy was about to change forever. The skies above New Horizon flickered with strange light. For a brief moment, the space around the planet seemed to bend, as if reality itself was folding. Then, without warning, The Reckoner materialized at the edge of the system, followed by the rest of Earth's fleet. On the bridge, Captain Diallo examined the tactical display. Situation report. Sarkin forces have established a planetary blockade. Commander Patel replied, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. 8 warships in orbit, ground forces concentrated around the main settlement. The colony's defenses have been completely overwhelmed. Diallo's jaw tightened. Life signs from colonists. Approximately 60% of the colony still shows life readings, but they're fading fast in some sectors. Then we still have people to save. Diallo straightened in her command chair. Battle stations. Prepare for engagement, but hold fire until ordered. Throughout the fleet, crews moved with practiced efficiency, despite never having faced actual combat. They had trained for this moment their entire lives. Weapon systems were armed, shields raised, and engines primed for rapid maneuvers. On the lead Sarkin vessel, Commander Kraz was enjoying his easy victory when the alert sounded. Unknown vessels detected, shouted his sensor officer, tentacles rippling in agitation. They appeared from nowhere. Impossible, Kraz growled, stalking to the view screen. Nothing can bypass our detection grid. Yet there they were, sleek, dark ships moving into position with precise coordination. Kraz had never seen vessels of this design before, but the configuration was unmistakably military. Open communication channel, he ordered, yellow eyes narrowing. Let's see who dares interfere with Sarkin business. On the Reckoner, Diallo received the incoming transmission. Put it through. The image of Commander Kraz appeared on screen. A towering reptilian creature with iridescent scales and a ridge of spines that flared with agitation. Unidentified vessels. Kraz's translated voice boomed. You have entered Sarkin space. Identify yourselves immediately or be destroyed. Diallo kept her expression neutral. This is Captain Amara Diallo of the Earth vessel Reckoner. You are attacking a human colony, Commander. I'm here to give you one opportunity to withdraw your forces and leave this system. Silence fell on the Sarkin bridge as Kraz processed this information. Earth. He finally responded, his translator unable to hide the contempt in his voice. The primitive world that hides from galactic affairs. Your pathetic species is in no position to make demands. I'm not making demands, Diallo replied calmly. I'm offering you a choice. Withdraw now, or we will remove you by force. Laughter erupted from the Sarkin commander. You have courage, human, but it is misplaced. Our intelligence reports indicate your technology is centuries behind ours. My smallest vessel could obliterate your entire fleet. Diallo exchanged glances with Patel. This was the moment that would define humanity's entry onto the galactic stage. Final warning, Commander. Withdraw your forces. Kraz's spines flared in amusement. Let me educate you on your place in the galaxy. He turned to his weapons officer. Target their flagship. Full barrage. The Sarkin warship fired, energy weapons lashing out across space toward the Reckoner. The bridge crew tensed, but Diallo remained calm. Defensive measures, she ordered quietly. The energy barrage struck an invisible barrier 10 kilometers from the Reckoner's hull and simply disappeared. No explosion, no impact. The energy was absorbed completely. On the Sarkin ship, Kraz leaned forward in disbelief. What happened? Report. Our weapons had no effect, his officer stammered. It's as if they were never fired. Diallo allowed herself a small smile. Now it's our turn. Targeted response only. Disable their weapons and propulsion systems. No casualties if possible. From the Reckoner, a single pulse of crimson energy emerged, striking the Sarkin vessel with surgical precision. The alien ship's weapon arrays went dark instantly, followed by its engines. What technology is this? Kraz demanded, panic rising in his voice as similar pulses disabled his entire fleet within seconds. Diallo leaned forward in her chair. Commander Kraz, your ships are disabled. Your ground forces are about to lose communication and support. I suggest you order an immediate surrender before we're forced to demonstrate what these ships can really do." As the remaining Sarkin vessels drifted powerless in space, the truth dawned on the galaxy. Humanity had not been hiding in fear. They had been preparing. And now, the most lethal fleet ever built had finally revealed itself. The revelation. News of the human intervention at New Horizons spread across the galaxy like wildfire. On the Sarkin homeworld of Sarkinar Prime, the High Command gathered in emergency session, their massive chamber echoing with angry voices and the hissing of agitated warriors. Impossible. Supreme Commander Vex slammed his armored fist on the table. How could primitive humans defeat our elite squadron? Admiral Thraz, head of intelligence, projected the limited footage they had received before communications were lost. The images showed Sarkin warships disabled by single energy pulses that bypassed their most advanced shielding. "The humans have deceived us all," Thraz explained. "While pretending to be isolationists, they were developing technologies we've never encountered." Our defeat at New Horizon was complete. The chamber fell silent as Vex's eyes narrowed to slits. "Mobilize the main battle fleet. Every available warship. We will crush this human resistance and make an example of Earth that the galaxy will remember for millennia." Light years away on the Reckoner, Admiral Wei's hologram flickered as he received Captain Diallo's report. The Admiral's weathered face showed little emotion, but pride glinted in his eyes. "Well done, Captain." "The colonists. Rescue operations are underway," Diallo replied. "We've neutralized all Sarkin forces without destroying their ships. Casualties were minimal." "Good, but this is just the beginning," Wei cautioned. "Our intelligence network reports massive fleet movements throughout Sarkin territory. They're mobilizing everything they have." Diallo studied the tactical projection. "The Sarkin main fleet outnumbers us nearly 10 to 1, which is why I'm activating the second wave," Wei announced. 8 more ships are launching from Europa base as we speak, including the Harbinger. The bridge crew exchanged glances. The Harbinger was legendary, even among those who had helped build Earth's secret fleet, a vessel so powerful its capabilities were classified even from most military personnel. On New Horizons' surface, medical teams from the Earth fleet worked alongside colony doctors to treat the injured. Dr. Elena Reyes watched in amazement as technology she had never imagined was used to heal wounds and repair damage. "We had no idea Earth had advanced this far," she admitted to Commander Patul as they surveyed the recovery efforts. "That was the point," Patul replied. "The galaxy dismissed us as unworthy of attention. We used that underestimation to our advantage." A colonist approached them hesitantly. "Is it true what they're saying? That Earth has been building this fleet for generations? That you have weapons that could destroy entire star systems?" Patel's expression remained neutral. "We built what we needed to survive in a hostile galaxy. Nothing more, nothing less." But rumors spread quickly among the colonists. Stories of Earth's hidden power and technological prowess grew with each telling. Some claimed humans had developed the ability to harness the energy of black holes. Others whispered that Earth's ships could travel between dimensions. While exaggerated, these tales reflected a new truth. Humanity was not what the galaxy had assumed. In the chambers of the Galactic Council, representatives from 15 major species debated the unexpected developments. The Sarkin ambassador had demanded immediate sanctions against Earth for unprovoked aggression, but evidence from New Horizon contradicted his claims. The humans responded to an attack on their colony, noted the Avarian representative, her feathered crest rising with indignation. They showed remarkable restraint by disabling rather than destroying the Sarkin fleet. "The real question," interjected the ancient Cylonian diplomat, "is how they developed such technology without our knowledge. Our assessments classify them as a Tier 3 species at best." The council chamber grew quiet as implications sank in. If they had been so wrong about humans, what else might they have missed? Back on the Reckoner, Diallo received a priority transmission from Admiral Wei. "Long-range sensors have detected the Sarkin battle fleet. Over 250 warships approaching through hyperspace. They'll reach New Horizon in less than 8 hours. Diallo's expression hardened. What are our orders, sir? Wei's hologram flickered. Protect the colony at all costs. The Harbinger will arrive in 6 hours to support you. Until then, you're authorized to use all necessary force. And if that's not enough, Diallo asked quietly, then we'll see what humanity is truly capable of. Wei replied, his voice grim with determination. We didn't hide for a century just to lose our first real fight. The massive Sarkin battle fleet emerged from hyperspace in a spectacular display of power. Their ships arranged in the traditional hunting formation that had terrified civilizations for centuries. Over 250 warships, from nimble destroyers to the imposing dreadnoughts, formed a three-dimensional net around the human position near New Horizon. Quite the welcome party, Captain Diallo remarked, studying the tactical display on the Reckoner's bridge. Her voice remained calm despite being outnumbered nearly 10-1. Commander Patil approached with the latest analysis. They've positioned themselves to block all conventional escape routes. Their weapons are powered, and targeting systems are active. And they've driven us exactly where we wanted to be, Diallo replied with a slight smile, gesturing toward the nearby nebula glowing with vibrant blues and greens. Is the quantum array ready? Yes, Captain. All ships report ready to execute Operation Singularity. On the Sarkin command vessel, Supreme Commander Vex personally oversaw the operation. Unlike Commander Kraz, he would not underestimate these humans again. Their fleet has nowhere to run, his tactical officer reported. They appear to be taking defensive positions near the nebula. A foolish choice, Vex hissed in satisfaction. The radiation will interfere with their sensors and shield systems. He raised his armored claw. All ships, commence attack pattern Vex Theral. No survivors. The Sarkin fleet moved with practiced precision, energy weapons charging as they closed the distance. The first salvos launched, hundreds of plasma torpedoes and energy beams converging on the human vessels. On the Reckoner, Diallo gave a single command: execute. In perfect synchronization, the Earth fleet activated their quantum arrays, devices unique to human engineering that could manipulate the very fabric of reality on a subatomic level. Beams of focused energy shot from each ship into the nebula, not as weapons, but as catalysts. For a moment, nothing happened. The Sarkin weapons continued their approach seconds from impact. Then the nebula itself came alive. Massive tendrils of energized gas erupted outward, intercepting the Sarkin attack and dissolving it harmlessly. The nebula's colors intensified, shifting from blue-green to brilliant white, as the quantum manipulation took effect. What is happening? Vex demanded as his sensors went haywire. Unknown energy signature, sir. The nebula. It's changing composition at the quantum level. The transformed nebula expanded rapidly, engulfing portions of the Sarkin fleet. Ships caught in its embrace found their shield systems failing, weapons offline, and navigation systems corrupted. Several vessels collided with each other in the chaos. Impossible. Vex's eyes widened in disbelief. They've weaponized the nebula itself. Meanwhile, Earth's ships moved through the energized gas clouds untouched, protected by their unique shielding. The Reckoner led the attack, launching precise strikes that disabled Sarkin vessels without destroying them outright. Target their command ships, Diallo ordered. Disrupt their coordination. The battle unfolded like nothing the galaxy had ever witnessed. The humans fought with a strategy that seemed alien, even to species who had waged war for millennia. Rather than focusing on destruction, they systematically dismantled the Sarkin fleet's ability to function as a cohesive unit. From nearby star systems, observers watched in stunned silence. 3 diplomatic vessels from neutral worlds had arrived to monitor the conflict, their most sensitive instruments recording every detail. What they witnessed would forever change the galaxy's perception of humanity. As the battle raged, a new energy signature appeared at the edge of the system. Larger than any vessel previously seen, The Harbinger arrived, a massive ship shaped like an obsidian arrowhead, its hull seeming to absorb light itself. By the Ancient Ones, whispered the Tylonian observer aboard one of the diplomatic vessels. What have the humans created? The Harbinger moved with impossible grace for a vessel of its size. It passed through the Sarkin lines untouched, as if the enemy ships weren't even there. Where it went, Sarkin vessels simply stopped, all systems shutting down simultaneously without a single shot fired. In the Sarkin command ship, Supreme Commander Vex watched in horror as his mighty fleet was systematically neutralized. What are they? He demanded of no one in particular. What have we awakened? The answer came in the form of a transmission from the Harbinger. A human woman appeared on screen, her uniform bearing the insignia of an admiral. Supreme Commander Vex, I am Admiral Layla Kazemi of the Earth Defense Force. Your attack on New Horizon was unprovoked. Your subsequent mobilization against Earth represents a clear threat to our species. We are prepared to end this conflict immediately, either through your unconditional surrender or through the complete neutralization of your military capability. The choice is yours. Vex's scales rippled with rage. You think you can dictate terms to the Sarkin Imperium. We have ruled the stars for 10,000 years. Your victory here is merely a temporary setback. We have resources beyond your imagination. You misunderstand, Commander, Kazemi interrupted calmly. This isn't a negotiation. This is mercy. Look at your fleet. The tactical display showed the extent of the Sarkin defeat. Over half their ships were completely disabled, drifting powerlessly in space. The rest were trapped in rapidly shrinking pockets, cut off from each other and unable to coordinate. What you've seen today represents less than a quarter of Earth's defensive capability. Kazemi continued. We remained hidden not out of fear, but because we recognized the threat your kind posed to peaceful coexistence. We chose isolation over conflict. You have forced our hand. For the first time in his long career, Supreme Commander Vex knew true defeat. The humans had outmaneuvered, outfought, and outsmarted the greatest military power in the galaxy. We will withdraw, Vex finally conceded, his voice hollow. All Sarkin forces will leave human territory immediately. Wise decision, Kazemi replied. But withdrawal isn't enough. You will return to your council and negotiate formal recognition of human sovereignty and our colonial territories. You will acknowledge Earth as a peer power with all associated rights and protections. And you will never again threaten human worlds or interests. As the defeated Sarkin fleet limped away from New Horizon, the galaxy buzzed with the implications. Humanity, long dismissed as an insignificant newcomer, had revealed itself as a technological and military superpower. Species that had ignored Earth now scrambled to establish diplomatic relations. Trade delegations were hastily assembled. Intelligence agencies desperately revised their assessments. In the aftermath, the Galactic Council convened an emergency session. For the first time in its history, Earth sent a representative. Admiral Wei stood before the assembled diplomats, his uniform simple compared to the ornate regalia of the other species. For a century, we watched and listened. Wei addressed the council. We observed how the powerful exploited the weak, how advanced civilizations treated newcomers, and we decided that humanity would chart its own course. He paced slowly before the council, his voice carrying to every corner of the chamber. We do not seek conquest. We do not desire domination. But we will defend ourselves, our values, and our independence with every means at our disposal. Wei paused, looking directly at each council member in turn. Today marks a new era in galactic relations. Humanity extends its hand in friendship to all who wish for peaceful cooperation. But let our actions at New Horizon serve as a reminder. Never mistake our patience for weakness, our restraint for inability, or our isolation for ignorance. As Wei finished speaking, the council chamber remained silent. The message was clear. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, not as supplicants begging for recognition, but as equals demanding respect. And across the stars, the legend spread of how a single distress call had summoned the most lethal fleet the galaxy had ever seen and changed the course of history forever.